Hi, my name is Lexi and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video we're talking about disco pants. I've had so many questions because disco pants make up like they're like a big staple in my wardrobe and I wear them all the time. And I've had a lot of people ask questions. I've had a lot of people send me messages saying that, oh, you should do a video about the disco pants or a lookbook with the disco pants. And so today I thought I would do a video about them, just sort of a thorough review and talk about like how I style them and how I like to wear them. And also maybe like kind of a lookbook, although I'm really nervous about that because I'm not a model, you know, so I'm nervous about putting my body out there and being like, yo, this is me in some incredibly form-fitting pants that it's impossible to hide anything in. But I'm being positive about my body and about style because I think that, you know, you can have awesome style at any age and at any size. And that's part of my journey now is that I'm, you know, rebuilding my wardrobe. And one of the reasons why it took me so long to get to this point was that I was really not positive about my body. And I kept thinking, oh, I'll, you know, revamp my wardrobe or I'll buy all new clothes once I lose weight. And finally got to the point where I'm like, I'm never going to be the size I was when I was 28 again. And I'm just going to start my fashion thing now. Just do it now. Well, let's get started. I want to start with a brief history of the disco pant. Disco pants were originally created in the late 60s in San Francisco, but I guess those like origins aren't like completely nailed down. I guess it's up for debate. And they were a unisex garment. And not long after their introduction, they sort of like went viral in today's terms. And they were manufactured by numerous companies and they were a hit across America. This is because they're like really great to dance in. You can like super move in. I'm wearing them now. They're like, you can move around a lot in them and they draw attention to your legs because they're shiny. And in the low light of a disco, like wearing shiny clothes was like the thing. All of this is from the Wikipedia article. So if you want to know like even more about specific brands and things like that, I encourage you to read that article. American Apparel, they went out of fashion and American Apparel started making them again in the late 2000s and they were like a big hit. And this kind of goes along with like the rise of athleisure wear and how so many people loved wearing like leggings because they like sucked in your butt and made your butt look good. Disco pants are a lot like that. They're a very stiff, stretchy material. It's very stiff and it definitely like holds you in and maintains a shape better than just like cloth leggings or something. The Wikipedia article says that they're intended to be as leggings, but I say that that's bullshit because they have back pockets, they have a front zip, they really look like pants to me, and they were literally copied from something that was a pant, but the leggings versus pants debate, I'm going to get into a little bit more in the styling portion of the video. Anyway, as you all know, or maybe not, but most of you know probably that American Apparel went bankrupt and they were bought by a large conglomerate and the clothing is no longer made in America and yet it's still called American Apparel. I think they make like 3 of the things in America, but it's no longer the same factory in Los Angeles. However, after the company went bankrupt and after its holdings were sold off and its intellectual property was sold off, I'm pretty sure it was the same exact people that started American Apparel, started a new company called Los Angeles Apparel in the same factory where they made American Apparel with the same designs. So which is awesome because if you really supported the idea of American Apparel, quality clothing made in America, not in sweatshops, then you can still get these clothes. And so personally, I encourage you, if you want to buy disco pants, to check out Los Angeles Apparel, but they are still also being made by American Apparel, and I think that they are available on Amazon, although that'll be up to you where you want to buy them from. I currently own 5 pairs of disco pants, but I only have 3 in rotation and one's about to get thrown away, and I kept it just to film some B-roll footage for this video. The first pair of disco pants that I bought are these black ones with the white stripe down the side. I bought these in 2013 and I wore them. I had 2 pairs originally. One of them wore out more than this one. Well, of the 2 pairs I decided to keep one. One of them was super worn out. This is kind of worn out, but it's still kind of wearable. but it no longer really fits. And I don't know, I save it for, I've got a box of clothes that like, oh, it's kind of half being kept for sentimental reasons and kind of half because I could theoretically fit in it someday. I've talked about that before in my decluttering channel. Those types of clothes, I have a small box. It's not big. It's like this, I don't know. It's a FabFitFun box, if you've ever seen that. And it's got some clothes that I will bring back out if I ever get small because I do like them and they're expensive, but it's not something I keep in my regular closet. But these were really fun. I wore these every day. They were like my cool, I wore them with like my studded leather vest. I don't have very many pictures of myself in them, and they don't make this style anymore. This was super limited, but these were just like my favorite, and I still really get a kick out of them. After that, they started wearing out, so I decided to buy new pairs, and I bought 2 pairs in black, and that was like right before American Apparel went out of business, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to stock up. So I bought 2 pairs. I'm wearing one right now, and the other pair is, I threw away today after I took some film of it because it wore out. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit on how they wear out and what happens to them in their longevity. And then the last 2 pairs you've seen on camera plenty of times. I've got this teal pair and this like purple pair. And those I got on Poshmark secondhand. If you're especially looking for the brightly colored ones, they're available on Poshmark pretty well. Usually when I check, I can find at least 1 or 2 pairs in different colors. And I think it's because when they're bright colors, people tend to be like, oh, that's so cool. And they buy it. And, you know, a lot of us, we buy when it's something that like really stands out in the wardrobe, when it's like a really, what's the word? Statement. When it's a really statement piece of clothing, a lot of times we buy it and then we either feel like it's not us, or we don't realize that we don't know how to style it, or it doesn't match anything in our wardrobe. So the brightly colored ones are readily available if you so desire. For a long time, American Apparel was doing like limited edition on different colors and different runs. But since going bankrupt, and now with the new Los Angeles Apparel being like pretty, I think their production of stuff being pretty scaled down, they don't have the notoriety they once had. I don't think that they're generally doing a lot of limited edition colors. I could be wrong about that. I think they mostly just stick to their basic colors. Also in my life, I have owned 2 other colors. I've owned a royal blue and I've owned a like blood red. The royal blue I recently decluttered because I didn't think that the color went into my wardrobe well. And the red ones, the front zipper, the stitching along the zipper broke. So let's talk a little bit about sizing because I've had some questions from people about that. Now, when I was at my thinnest, I bought my first pair, and I was below a size 6, but not yet like a size 4. I guess you could say I was a size 5, but people don't really sell things in odd number clothing anymore. But I was, and the mediums fit me really well. So that black ones with the white stripe down the sides, those were mediums. And actually the black ones I'm wearing today are also mediums. Now, they stretch out over time. Right now I'm about a size 10, and if I was a size 10 and I went to try on the mediums back in the day, they would not have fit. But they do stretch out over time. Not a ton. These are still tight, but they do stretch out a little. These colored ones that I have they're size large, and I bought them when I was like a size 12, and I've worn them up to being like a size 14, and the large fit me really well. But even if I was thinner, I think they would still fit me decently. They're just not gonna, they'll just won't look quite as like tight in. I would say if they're really tight and they're hard to get on. I think there's that scene in Dazed and Confused where the girls are using like screwdrivers to get the zipper up. And I'm not going to say it's like that bad, but they're intended to be really tight, and it's a very stiff tightness. But I don't find them uncomfortable to wear. Certainly when they were newer, they were less comfortable. Like I said, they do stretch out a bit over time. I find especially in the upper part, like your butt and around your belly, because that's where it has the most, gets worked the most as you like sit and stand. It stretches out a lot. Let's talk about how these wear over time before we talk about styling. Because when you sit down, like obviously your like butt spreads apart, I guess. Where they wear out the most is along the rear seam and in the crotch of the pants. So not that y'all wanted to see close-ups of my pants crotches, but it's really germane to the video. Over time, the elastic will start to break in that area. The fabric becomes loose and it doesn't stretch anymore, and you may get little like white bits of elastic sticking out the end. The worst pair that I had was one of my pairs of black pairs, and after it would do that, like after I got right after it was washed, it was the worst, and I would like trim the edges, but it kept happening, and so I've thrown that pair away. Now, when they do start to do that, when you're not wearing the pant, it looks terrible. It's like puckered and it doesn't look great. However, when you put them on, it is not really visible. It gets stretched out. The whole area gets stretched out, and you can't tell as much. Now, it gets to a certain point where you can tell, and it does get baggy in the crotch, and that's the point where I get rid of them. This black and white pair I have is one of my worst, and it's to the point where I started to feel self-conscious wearing them. And I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but I've got some B-roll footage I shot. And yeah, I feel like it's something I would wear then maybe going out to a club, going out to a show at night, because I don't really go to clubs. But it gets to the point where it's not something that I would want to wear like in daylight during the day or to work, because I would feel self-conscious about it. And really, I should just throw them away and get new ones, but they don't make the black and white ones anymore, so I have these for like someday. But the black ones, I'm throwing one away, and I've decided to try to find a new pair of black ones. The black ones are the hardest to find secondhand, so I'll probably just end up buying them new from Los Angeles Apparel as a replacement. In the near future, because it wasn't until I was like filming them that I was like, what? This is terrible. Why are you wearing this, Lexi? Why? This is awful. It really took filming this video for me to acknowledge how poor of condition my clothes have gotten in. So, and in general, a lot of this decluttering, and I'm like trying to sell my clothes, and I was like, wow, this really was a piece of shit, wasn't it? I really just needed to get rid of it anyway. So that's a little note about condition. As another side note, and this is important. If you sit down on wooden surfaces, these pants will pick up splinters like you wouldn't believe. Something about like you sit down and it stretches the back seam of the fabric, and it stretches it out, and then when you stand up, the fabric kind of comes back together and it like grabs splinters from the wood. And not only will you have splinters in your butt, but when you remove the splinters, it like damages the fabric even more and makes runs in the fabric. So my neighbor is mowing his lawn, but this is just life. I have to film this video. Anyway, so as I was saying, be careful sitting on things like picnic benches, or if you're somewhere that's like old and it's got like a wood booth, but the wood is like old and worn and not like highly varnished anymore. Just be careful. I've had some problems with that. But moving on to styling, I've had a lot of people request for me to talk about this. I have found over time that I didn't used to think very hard about it. I just wore whatever t-shirts I wanted, whatever, I just put whatever with them. I treated like any other pair of pants. But as styles have changed, as more time has gone on, I've gotten a lot more self-conscious about that, because I don't want to look dated. I don't want to look like I'm dressing like it's 2008. Now, I have found the most versatile by far is the black pair, but like I think everyone could probably figure that out. The black is the most versatile. I find that I can dress them up. I can wear them with really girly clothes, and that's like a really cute look. I can put a lot of different types of tops with them, and I can put a lot of different types of shoes with them, but like girly stuff. And I think that the most important thing to note here is that the girly clothes usually show my natural waist, or they usually come to my natural waist. And I think that this is kind of like the key point about how you style these. I do try to wear these sometimes with in a little bit more of a laid down manner. Laid back, laid down. laid back manner, and I think that they do okay. I'm talking like just like a regular t-shirt and like boots. They look okay. If I put a belt on my hips and make it the t-shirt more of like a ripped up t-shirt, I think it looks a little better. And then I think I love, 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 one of my like favorite things to wear when I go out to a show is like putting them with like a really ripped t-shirt, and you'll notice a t-shirt that comes more to my natural waist. And that's the main thing I've noticed, is that they look best to me when they show off the natural waist. The blacks pants can get away with wearing something that comes more down, but as I was mentioning before, this is when it starts to go into, is it leggings territory? And I'm not really into the whole look of a t-shirt with leggings. Like, that's not my style. If that is your style, these pants might be great for you because they have the feel of wearing a pants, but they have a look of a legging. Now, I cannot wear the colored pants in the same way. I can get away with wearing the pink pants with some of my like punk shirts and accessories and clothes because it's a very obvious like, oh, I'm doing like a rock and roll look, but it's girly, so it's purple or pink. When I try the same thing with the teal pants, I don't think it looks as good. And obviously, I can wear these pants in a really girly way, and that's usually how I wear the pink and the teal pants. They're super girly, and they're really fun. The teal ones I have a harder time with, mostly because I just don't have things that match them as well. They're just like a color that is not as common. I struggle with styling the colored pants the most when I'm trying to wear them in a laid back way. And this is where I think it's just like really not good fashion for me. When I put the teal pants or the purple pants with just like a t-shirt and boots, to me, I feel like I look like an emo kid from 2007. You know, like they just look like those really tight pants, those really tight low-rise jeans of that era. And that's like not my look. They start to look like either leggings or something like that. I have found that with the colored ones, in order to avoid looking like those pants, those tight colored jeans from that era, you have to show the natural waist. Without showing the natural waist, I don't want to wear that. And that's why I got rid of the dark blue ones, because I don't really have clothes to match them to wear them in a really, really girly way. So I was basically always wearing them with just t-shirts or sweaters, and then I always felt like they looked like 2007 jeans. Maybe that's your style. Maybe you like that. Maybe you like that idea. And that's good. I've also seen a lot of people wear them in a really girly way, like a lot of like vintage pinup styles with the dark blue pants or the red pants, but they're not my thing. I prefer I've talked a lot about the parts of my wardrobe and like how I style things. When I'm dressing really girly, I tend to prefer like pinks and purples and teals and things like that, rather than like primary colors, dark colors. I've styled these in many different ways, and I can make a lot of different outfits. Right now, since I've decluttered, I can't make as many good outfits with especially the teal ones as I normally do. In general, my recommendation for you is that you show off the natural. If you want to make these look current and give that disco vibe, give that I'm just wearing really tight pants vibe, I highly recommend that the outfit be focused about the natural waist and not a lower waist or not a brought down waist with a longer top, and to style it that way. So this is not like a super in-depth video, but I just wanted to put that out there and talk about the pants. If you guys have any questions about the sizing or anything like that, or you just want to ask me more questions, just put that in the comments below and I'd be more than happy to talk about it. I try to get up in the comments and engage with you guys because that's like the whole point of this channel, was to be able to find a community of people that wanted to talk about this type of stuff. So I will see you guys in the next video, and thanks for watching. Bye.